get in a chair, y'all. I'm coming up here in 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right, we're good. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition. Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Just realized. Whoop. See, Drew was kind of out of the picture there for a while. Got to make sure that our guy can wish, Dale can wish Fathead Drew a good morning, and me too, man. All right, let's say some good mornings, y'all. LSU loses 3-0 last night to Gonzaga. They never solved Alec Jacob. Talked about him all week. Not an overpowering guy, but man, is he effective, and he was last night. Kept LSU hitters off balance. A lot of pop-ups. They just couldn't quite locate his pitches. So, that's a bummer, man. So, there's sort of just a feeling of inevitability now, like we talked about. For LSU to win this regional, they needed to start 2-0. They don't have the pitching depth to make it through. Make it through a postseason, to make it through a regional out of the losers bracket. So, I don't know if Paul announced. My guess is they play 3 today Central Time. My guess is they'll give Mikhail Hilliard the ball and try to save the season for another day against Central Connecticut State. Obviously, a game they should win. The really interesting thing: Facebook no volume again, huh? Oh, I know why.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me on y'all can hear me on YouTube. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I have to restart Facebook. God dog it. I'm sorry. And this is so stupid and time consuming. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry, YouTube. Very sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm going to restart this. Par for the course after last night. Are you trying to move everyone off of Facebook? No. So the problem is, I'll explain in a second. I don't know why this is happening. It shouldn't be happening, but it is. I got a microphone for this is exactly what you need to drive up numbers, right? Y'all sitting there waiting on a Saturday morning watching me type. Anyway. All right. Okay, now we are live on both YouTube and Facebook, and both should be able to hear me. My apologies about the issues there a moment ago. Sincere apologies. Let the Facebook people get back in here and we'll get rolling. So, again, as always, Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Certainly appreciate all of you for hanging out here in this AM. If you would please on Facebook, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post, like the page, share the post. I would appreciate that greatly. So, all right, let's get rolling. I was going to go reshare it on my phone to all the different platforms, but you know what, whatever, let's just roll. All right, let's say our good mornings here. Trivia Carter, good morning. Tim Gotro, Brian Ashcraft, see Eddie Smith. Darren Pellegrin, good morning. Ray Moore, goose egg, I know. Strong Side Sports and Collectibles, good morning. Tough night in Oregon. Joey Vincent, good morning. Dale Broussard, what's up? Tim Gotro. Saw Palminary's press conference pop on my tube feed. Didn't have the guts or the stones to watch it. I did not yet, Tim. I don't really know what Paul could say after last night. You know, the two moves that he made, well, there were more than that. But before the game, yeah, obviously with the lineup, putting Mitchell Sanford at the DH and in the 4-hole. I told you yesterday I didn't like it. I would have started Beloso. If you're trying to get lefties in there, put the guy that at least he puts the ball in play. And your real, opportunity in that ball game came when Dylan Cruz led off third with a triple, and Dugas hit a ground ball to the left side. The run didn't score. Sanford struck out, and then Doty popped out, and they got out of it. I'm sorry, that was in the fourth. It was in the fourth. Doty walked. No, Doty walked. Safford got hit on the foot. That's right. And then DiGiacomo flied out. And it looked like he put it in the gap, but he flew out. I mean, he wanted left-handed bats in the lineup. For whatever reason, Palminary loves Mitchell Sanford. I think Sanford has a lot of potential, but we've been over this. He strikes out about a third of his at-bats this year, and it bit you last night. They replaced him with Beloso, and he went 0 for 2 as well with a strikeout. Will Safford started at second, was in the 6-hole, went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. I thought he'd be on base a couple times, didn't materialize. They pulled Safford. And put Arnold in at second, who struck out. I'm not sure that it would have made a tremendous amount of difference against that kid last night. Against guys that are going like that, you just have very few opportunities, and when the opportunities present, you got to come through, and LSU didn't. Complete game, 4-hit shutout for Alec Jacob. 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. Man, oh man. And I'll tell you, y'all, and then the other thing that was so perplexing to me is, if you're Palminary, Marshall gives you 5 2/3. You're in the 6th, and you want a lefty on lefty matchup, which is what he went to when the lineup flipped and you had first and second. He went and got Jacob Hasty, and I'm like, why in the world, if you want a lefty-lefty matchup there, are you getting Jacob Hasty and not Javen Coleman? I mean, see, Ray Moore said he shouldn't have pulled him, but in some respects, I get it, right? It's a 3-0 ball game. You can't let it get any worse. You got a runner in scoring position. They're flipping the lineup over, and this guy's already 2 for 3 against Marceau. I get it. if you think, all right, this guy's had Marceau's number, we can't let this get any worse. This is the point. This is the moment. I get it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I understand, and that's where you'll hear me say sometimes, like, in baseball, it's a game of failure, obviously. So as long as you have sound logic behind the decisions you make, I'm okay with living with the results. But that's one where I go, why not go get your best lefty? Why not go get Javen Coleman in that spot? Anyway. Reagan Lee, good morning. Chuck Sanchez, what's up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? George Reitmeyer, Kirk Taylor, Dylan Horn. LSU showed no offensive approach and had no answer. They definitely had no answer. But guys, like, this is what we talked about with that kid all week. It's kind of perplexing, but he's got a sub 200 batting average against. He had 103 strikeouts to 17 walks going in last night. He was just conference pitcher of the year. I mean, that guy's a good pitcher. You can see he's got the weird thing where he pauses at the top of his leg kick, and he has this herky-jerky motion with a weird arm slot. It just, they couldn't figure out where the ball was going. There were so many times they thought they put good swings, and they just popped it right up. They were just under, pitch elevated. Just weird. Just a... Anyway. Steve Scott, good morning. Ryan Dixon, Utah Valley redacted their offer. I mean, you know what? Like, I've talked to enough people around there that's like, I don't know that you put all the blame on Eddie Smith. I mean, hear me out. Like, I get it that he's the hitting coach. But it's almost like, blaming the offensive coordinator for not having a better passing game when you're coaching under Les Miles. Does that make sense? Like, that's kind of, your hands are a little tied. Especially when you run out there the lineup they did yesterday. Jeff McKithen, good morning. Kirk, rough day on the diamond. I need LSU to win for my birthday. Wait, Kirk, is that today? Is today the birthday? If it is, we'll get Drew in here. We'll get to singing this morning. Andrew Bayer, hindsight 2020, would you have gone with Hilliard? No, not at all. I mean, it's 100%. Listen, y'all, Marceau didn't pitch badly. Marceau gave you 5, but this was the MO on this team. That's why we do opposing, like, we get you the perspective of the other team. That's a team that drives up pitch counts. I mean, think about, Marceau was on the verge of an 8-pitch inning when Safford had the throwing error to first. Now, they got out of it with no runs, but the next two guys reached, and it drove up the pitch count. Like, Marceau was at 101 pitches through 5 2/3. 7 hits, 3 runs. Only struck out 3, walked 3, which is disappointing. But, like, if your starter gets you into the 6th inning and only allows 3 runs, like, you should be in the ball game. And they just weren't. I mean, I don't pin that on Marceau. Like, the decision was right. You got to go get it. I mean, you got to get in a winner's bracket. And what if you had lost that game with Hilliard? Then we're going, man, you should have started Marceau. So, the really interesting thing about this regional, though, is supposedly Oregon's ace is actually their number 2 guy. Think like Vanderbilt, Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter. Leiter's the number 2 guy, but he's kind of the ace. Same with Oregon. Meanwhile, Gonzaga, their number 2, Gabe Hughes, has a broken hand. They thought he might be ready for the regional. He's not. He's out. So, like, Gonzaga doesn't have their number 2, and Oregon's, like, ace is their number 2. So, Oregon should take firm control of this thing today. So, if LSU wins today against Central Connecticut State, they'll likely come back on Sunday and have to play Gonzaga again. Jesse Brown, good morning. Hope Drew's feeling better. See if LSU can get a win today. Thank you, Jesse. Reagan Lee felt like they didn't even care. Do you think they play with some fire? That's Reagan. I'm with you on that, man. The only person that showed any fire all day was Vittmeyer when he got the strikeout to get out of the eighth. There you are, Dale Broussard. What's up, man? Kerr go for 5 with runners in scoring position, can't win. Only having 5 runners in scoring position through 9 innings can't win. Cody Lyles, good morning from Texas. No offense at all. I see a 2 in barbecue coming. 2 in barbecue. When I did radio with Josh Ennis, he hated that saying, the 2 in barbecue. I'm like, what does that even mean? And so he'd be like, what? Or if you're out 3, you'd be 3 in Christmas tree or 4 in front door, like just whatever rhyme. That's pretty funny. Samuel Merrifield, if LSU hires Casey, will he have to answer questions about Heinrich at OSU? You're talking about Heimlich, Luke Heimlich. And he's referring to Pat Casey, the former Oregon State coach, who I know Kendall Rogers added to his list of LSU candidates on his D1 baseball, and I can tell you that there's some legitimacy from both sides of that. Like how high or low on the list is Pat Casey? I have no idea. How sincere is the interest? I don't know, but it goes to show that anybody, even a 3-time national championship winning coach who's retired and living in Oregon, will take LSU's call. AJ Holland, are you really surprised? Seems when postseason play comes, the lineup and pitching assignments get managed worse. No, I surprised AJ. I don't know that's. I mean, that's you're painting with a broad brush there. I'm disappointed for sure. I think it's not that it's any different, AJ. It's just that it's magnified more because it's the postseason. I mean, it's what Paul does. He plays his hunches. He has feelings. He try to get lefties in the lineup. For whatever reason, he sees something in Mitchell Sanford that he wanted to run out there like he's done all year. It's can't believe I'm saying it, but it's really hard for me to reconcile with him pulling Drew Bianco. And y'all know, I mean, for me to say that, I mean, y'all know at the beginning of the year where I felt on that, but the kid's been, over the last month, one of your best hitters. So, Tommy Matthews, Safford seemed to show some nerves at second. Tommy, I'm not even sure that it's nerves. I mean, maybe it was, but kid who hadn't played second all year. Like, he's been on the bench all year. And then in regional play, you run him out there. I mean, good on the kid for sticking with some balls where he would knock it down, get in front of it, and, get what he can. Like the shovel pass to get the lead runner at second that one in the hole. But, man, the error on the throw to Morgan, it was a beautiful play to stop the ball. He didn't need to throw it 100 miles an hour, off balance. Just take your time, set and throw. He didn't realize how much time he had. But that's, again, playing. That's the internal clock, Anyway. Michael Richard, morning, Mr. Matt. Mike, the reasonable Tulane fan. Welcome, Mike, the reasonable Tulane fan. All are welcome. Jonathan Coskerart. Good morning. Difficult to watch last night. Go Tigers. You and Demui were great. Poor Painage. Joey Painage. So on the companion show last night, it was me, Demui. Demui's on the whole time. I appreciate Demui for jumping on, but Coogan was on for a bit. Hunt was in and out, and then at the end, Painage jumped on. Old Joe Pod, and Joe was just crushing him with the comments. Poor Joe Pod. It said like he coached with Skip or played with Skip at Miami High. Y'all were crushing him, man. Poor Joe Pod. Craig Duncan, why does last night surprise people? The LSU team last night proved what they've been all year. Now that I agree. How can a guy that doesn't throw hard to break an egg pitch as good against Cosmo? But Craig, he's, again, the guy you saw last night has done that against everyone he's faced all year. That's the point you're missing. That guy threw a no-hitter this year. That guy has an ERA around 2. He's got a sub 200 batting average against. He's got over 100 strikeouts. That's what you're missing. It's not like he just this crappy pitcher with an ERA of 9 went and handcuffed LSU for a complete game shutout. That was the West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year. Like he may not be a projectable starter in Major League Baseball because he might not be able to get out major league hitters, but he has been really proficient at getting out college hitters all season long. And you're going to say, well, that's the West Coast Conference. It doesn't matter. I mean, we went through and told you what he did against Dallas Baptist and TCU and Texas Tech, and he's been good this year. He's been really good. So now the part about why does this surprise people like it shouldn't, I'm with you on that because that's been LSU this year, right? I mean, it's why I didn't pick them to win this regional because they haven't put together a complete weekend all year. Now, it would not surprise me at all if McHale goes out today and gives you 7 great innings and you win this game 9-2 and you advance to tomorrow. So, because that's just how. I mean, think about the Alabama series. We were all talking about how or the A&M series about how desperate LSU needed to be, and they went out there and they lost the first game, and then we're like, man, they're done for. And then they came back and they won the next 2. Like they found their stride. This team just hasn't put it together for 3 consecutive games over a weekend. It's just peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows. It's what they've been all year. It's why they are what they are. So it would not surprise me at all today if they go out there and beat Central Connecticut State and advance to Sunday. And honestly, I don't know I didn't look too deep into Gonzaga. If they play Gonzaga again, what does Gonzaga have as their number 3? I don't know. Theoretically, LSU could come back with A.J. Labus. The guy's done 150 innings in his career. I mean, could Labus be rested after basically having 3 weeks off and maybe have a good outing? Sure. You know what I mean? Like, we've just seen it from this team all year. Let's see. Lane Ward, Kevin Harrell, Tom Brouillard, Ray Moore, where'd you get the I Hit Bomb shirt? Let me see if I can find it still. So, wonder if I can find it. So I had a buddy that made them. I got to see if I can find it. If he's still got it on his website. I got to see if I can find it, and if I can, remind me or something. I'll post it. But after 2018, he had those made. And of course, Todd Peterson thing. We wore them, stuff like that. So, and someone asked about this one too. This is the Wade Sims, the Forever 44. When Wade's family did when they started the foundation, they did his first event over at Topgolf. This was part of the gift bag with these shirts. Let's see who drank Joe Boo's rum yesterday. Danny Braywick, what's up, man? Yeah, everybody on YouTube, if you would please hit the like button. That's a huge help. Thank you so much. What? What?
I just heard that haircut fairy. You didn't hear her? she was jingling a little while ago. It's all right. If you didn't hear her, it's fine. I'll offer it.
The haircut fairy ain't never got me nothing.
If you would grow hair, I would give you something.
Haircut fairy. You want to explain the haircut fairy?
Haircut and color fairy.
Do you want to explain the haircut?
It's a big fairy.
Do you want to explain the haircut fairy? I don't know if they can hear you way over there.
Hey, buddy. Well, in my world, when fairies are involved, things get done for you. So.
Meaning, the fairy pays for something.
Or unloads the dishwasher. Or carries your bags.
The carry your bag fairy?
Yeah, luggage fairy.
The luggage fairy.
Or pays for your cut and color today, fairy. Has the haircut fairy. I heard her. She was like, ding, 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 ding. Go get your haircut colored. Aw, thanks, babe. Love you. It is a retreat for something I've done, I'm sure. I deserve a treat. I said, I'm sure I deserve a treat for something. I do so much. What about all your cooking? I cook every meal for you.
Oh.
That could be worth it, right?
We're going to start doing the list of things we do? Is that what's going to happen now?
No, we're not. I'm not in competition with you.
It sounds like it.
No, it's not. I said, I'm sure I've done something. I didn't say I do everything. I said, I'm sure I've done something.
Yes, Erica, I will pay for your haircut.
Not you, the fairy.
Oh, I'm sorry. The haircut fairy will pay for your cut color.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Erica.
And you know what? On there, Nicole got the shots in her heel for the plantar fasciitis stuff, and I can't walk. Like, I've got to go.
I've told you for months and months and months and months and months and months and months. You just thought it was going to go away. Your plantar fasciitis. When Erica wakes up in the morning, this is what she does. Like every day when she gets out of bed, this is Erica.
But it comes and goes. It comes and goes. They say plantar fasciitis goes away. So I'm waiting for it to go away. It won't leave. I mean, I've heard the shots. Ask your show. If anyone's got shots in their heel for plantar fasciitis, I heard they are a mother.
I bet so.
They hurt like, you know what? Like Nicole was like, I cried. So I'm going to ask her when I go there right now, like, who gave you the shots? I've got to get these shots in my foot. I cannot walk. So.
Okay. We need a base hit fairy.
Yeah, we do. We need a cha-ching fairy. We need a base hit fairy. We need a batting fairy. We need lots of fairies. Tell your people to start asking for them. Once a fairy comes, things just happen. It's amazing. Okay, I'm going to miss him.
Okay.
But he's probably going to end soon, so.
Okay.
And I'm going to take my phone.
Okay. Mayor Mathern, are you doing a companion show today? Do y'all want one? I mean, the companion show, Scone After Dark, lost for the first time yesterday. No longer undefeated. Luke Cranford, morning Scone. My 9-week-old puppy woke up at 5 a.m. and didn't care about me going to bed disappointed after midnight after that game. Well, Luke, you're the one who decided to get the puppy, bro. That's on you. You want to compare notes? My kid waking up at 1:30 in the morning and getting in our bed and kicking me all night. And really getting out of bed at 6:30. Jerry, is it me or did the companion show just end? Oh man, there was somebody last night who was upset at me for cursing. Woo. I'm like, are you new? Cody F, what were you sipping last night? The game wasn't worth anything other than something from a plastic bottle on the bottom shelf. I did my Old Elk wheat whiskey. Ray Moore, Brandon Atchison, Star Hill Stunners, John Melanson, Breezy Bro, Sydney Bonnet, what's up, y'all? Darren Pellegrin, what's up, Darren? Pulmonary coaching career could possibly end against Central Connecticut State. Well, it's got to end against somebody. I hear you, though. Let's see. What's up, George Hart? Morning, buddy. Tell Drew Coach George says what's up. Got to give props. Their pitcher did a good job in mixing his pitches each inning. Yeah, it was good. Brandon getting tiresome watching Sanford look out match at the plate. I mean, yeah, there's nothing to say to the contrary. I mean, Mitchell Sanford on the season, 268 hitter. I mean, 325 on base percentage, 24 strikeouts and 71 at bats. I mean, he strikes out more than a third of the time. It's what it is. I'm with you. Zero de Yule. The recipe to beat LSU. Oh, these are going fast. Sorry. Greg Duncan. Do we want the Florida coach now? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Like, because his team lost a regional game yesterday? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I definitely do. You're going to flush a resume of being an elite pitching coach, an elite recruiter, churning out first rounders like AJ Puck and Alex Faedo and Brady Singer. You're going to like flush all that because they lost one regional game on a Friday to South Florida? That's like saying, Alabama, do you really want Nick Saban? He just went 6-10 in the NFL. He stinks. Yeah, that's the one. John Joliffe, what's up? Dale Broussard, 0 runs in the last 18 innings. How about that? Richie Burt scored as many runs as I thought they would against someone's ace. Charlie Cavell, leadoff triple, can't score. That was the part where I blew my lid on the companion show, because that was your opportunity. I mean, you're in a 2-0 ball game. You get a leadoff triple and your 3, 4, 5 hitters are coming up, and you can't get that guy home. I mean, like literally, Dugas grounds out to the left side, so looking back to third, all right, there's one out. Now you get your 4-hole hitter up. I mean, it's your cleanup. Sanford's up. All you have to do is put the ball on the ground to the right side or in the air anywhere, and Dylan Cruz scores, and you're in a 2-1 ball game. And he couldn't put the ball in play. It's brutal, bro. That's brutal. Cole Brown, educate me with Safford, highly recruited. Safford was committed to LSU like as a freshman in high school. I mean, good athlete, good player. I'm telling you, man, it's one of those things where that kid was supposed to be the everyday third baseman. It's just brutal to sit on the bench all year and then in the opener of a regional in Oregon, go in there cold and be like, all right, kid, go get him in a position you haven't played all year. It just... We talked about it enough. Jason Aguilar, what's up, man? Andrew Bayer. Earl. Matty, why didn't Beloso start? Is he in the doghouse? Hey, Earl, I mean, the truth is, Maneri plays his hunches. He's got his favorites. He always has, man. And he clearly likes Mitchell Sanford. We talked about that a bunch. I think Sanford could be really good, man. But this year he's had some struggles. Brian Ashcraft, my boy Owen turns 5 today. All right, Owen. I don't know if he's watching, but if he is, happy birthday, Owen. Let me see if we can get Drew in here to sing. Kirk, you got to tell me if today's your birthday as well, or if it's tomorrow. Let's see. Richie Bird. Whoever hired our hitting coach as head coach should be worried about that performance. Earl, Matt, why don't they have fire? My buddy says, well, the coach's personality. I don't agree with that. It's on the players. You have it or you don't. I mean, I think sometimes the team does take on the personality of its coach. I think that's a natural thing, but I think you also don't have leadership on this team. Most of the time, like, your leaders are your veterans, and the best players on this team are freshmen. Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, Jordan Thompson, the best players on this team are freshmen. That's tough, right? That's tough to be 18 or 19 and walk into a college locker room and be dude, even Todd Walker talked about this. He hit 400 as a freshman, but even he felt like he couldn't speak up. The LSU needed more from its veterans this year. It really needed a big year from guys like Beloso, and I think Dugas played really well this year. Has played really well this year. He's grown up nicely through the program. Gio has been around a few years now. Cade Doty is only a sophomore, but like they needed those guys to have monster years and be sort of the heartbeat of the team. It just didn't happen that way. Will Myers, why is Casey even in the conversation after Heimlich? No way he did not know about that in recruiting while on campus. Will, I think you need to go back and refresh yourself on the entire story. You need to go back and refresh it. I don't want to get to and it's so preliminary right now. I don't even know that it's worth having that conversation, but yet. But I would I'd recommend if that gets further, and we will, but go refresh yourself on that story. John Bro, good morning. Kip Kippers, new head coach, new hitting coach, new pitching coach. Yeah, I mean, look, whoever comes in. I mean, obviously Eddie Smith's already taken a job. I think Nolan was interviewed for a job at Kennesaw State, and AD won't be retained, so it'll be a completely new staff. Torrey Marshall trying to bring back Canizero. That's not going to happen. Look, especially with LSU amid the Title IX lawsuits and all that stuff, you can't make a hire like that. You just can't. Patrick Kason, good morning. I knew LSU was in trouble when you gave us Gonzaga's scouting report. Checked all the boxes. Yeah. Charlie, who would be your next top choice to be the head coach? Top choice to be the next head coach. Kevin O'Sullivan. I mean, he's 52 years old. He's won at the highest level in the SEC. He's won a national championship. He has been elite at developing pitching, and he is an elite recruiter. Talk to anybody. Like, one of the big problems that LSU's had in recruiting is Paul hasn't really recruited. Nolan does it. I mean, you go to the showcase events, Kevin O'Sullivan is there. You go to high school games and venues, Kevin O'Sullivan is there. Like, he's, at 52, he's still in the mix, still energetic with all that stuff. And it's, it would be a very different intensity level. Yeah, he would be the guy. Can y'all hear Erica? What is she doing in there? Apollo Balboa, how many wins for a title? 7. It can be done.
See, the waffle fairy came for you.
Oh, good.
And the haircut fairy comes for me.
Great.
Thank you.
Bye.
I gave him he has like 70 or about 60 mLs of food left to get.
Okay.
So he should be done in a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
I'll check in later. I love you.
Love you too. Tom Brouillard. My wife went to bed around midnight while I was watching the companion show. She comes down this morning. I have morning Scone on. She's like, "Have you been watching that guy all night?" Tom, tell your wife that I'm just a grinder. Always here. Ray Moore, what's up? Let's see. Cortland, Brody. How hard would it be to sell the fan base on Mike Bianco if he would become the coach? Well, I mean, I'll ask y'all. What do y'all think if it were Bianco? I think... last night on the companion show, for those of y'all who stuck it through to the end, I gave you a list. I gave you 6 names. And so I think it will be one of those 6. And Bianco was on it, but I think he's the last guy on it. I think Woodward is going to try to make his splash higher. I think if they offer it to Kevin O'Sullivan, he will take it. I'm not convinced they will offer for some extenuating circumstances. Hey, bud, that's why I think they've started to have that's why I think you pick up the phone and you call Tim Corbin and you call Pat Casey and you call Dan McDonald and you call some of these people. But I think if they get down to it, Scott Woodward knows you're not hiring a mid-major coach. You're not hiring an assistant. It's LSU. I mean, it's like Alabama football or Kentucky basketball. The expectations are unrealistic, but they're not changing. So you have enough money and resources to pay a coach pretty much whatever you want and give that coach whatever resources he needs to be successful, and you will have fan support and everything you need to win with enormous expectations. And some coaches want that. And you can't sell the fan base on Lane Burroughs. I think Lane Burroughs is a really good coach, but you can't sell LSU's fan base on bringing in the Louisiana Tech coach. So, I mean, I think if it gets down to it, Bianco would be sort of the last safe kind of hire, if that makes sense. Of course, Drew's at LSU. He's got another son at ULL. And his youngest is just graduated high school. So timing-wise, it would be a good time. And I think Bianco's at a point where he's been at Ole Miss 21 years. He's had more success there than anybody. And I just think he's in a position where Maneri was a few years ago, maybe not feeling super appreciated. So, don't know. But I think that would be a tough sell considering the lack of postseason success for Bianco, and that's really how his career has been defined at this point. Kyle Milliken, if Florida and LSU lose the next game, do you think they could announce Sully as the coach in the next 2 weeks? Next 2 weeks? Kyle, I think the ideal situation for LSU is they play for as long as the coach they want to hire plays, and then they make that announcement on Tuesday. Like if LSU and Florida both lost this weekend and they decide O'Sullivan's the guy, you make that announcement like on Tuesday. I mean, that's 2 weeks, bro. I mean, it's now. That's your guy. Like the worst case scenario is your season ends and the coach you want to hire, his team keeps playing. So then you're just waiting for that season to end so you can have the formal conversations. And man, that would be terrible because meanwhile, all the other jobs are getting filled. The pool of candidates continues to shrink and you could be left sort of holding the bag. So if you don't get your guy. David Wallace, morning, Matt. Tigers were outplayed, outcoached. Look like a lot of LSU games this year. That's true. Apollo Balboa, 1985. Donovan Thibodeau, Randall Offrecht. What's up? Zuppy 504. What's up? Boy, I'm so far behind on comments. I'm sorry. Roy Hill, how pissed are Georgia fans this morning after watching LSU go down in flames and Alabama get scorched? Don't know, don't really care. I mean, I understand your point there, Roy, but look, Bama and LSU, based on their resumes, both deserve to be in. Both had tough matchups, both lost. Clear the microwave fair. Todd Peterson, what's up, y'all? Merrick Mathern, can the hit doctor work with Milazzo in the offseason? The hit doctor has tried to do some work with Milazzo during the season. Danny Braywick, yesterday at the end of hour 2, you said you grew up with Steven Dixon. Yeah. I text my friend. Turns out we have a mutual friend. He was the best man at my wedding. No way. That's so funny. Yeah, so like when we moved to Baton Rouge in 1989, we lived in Shenandoah on Mobile Drive, 5003 Mobile Drive. And at the end of the street kind of curved. And in that turn, that's where Steven lives, Steven Dixon. And he had a big field behind his fence. We go out there and we play baseball out there a lot. So, yeah, man. Grew up on the same street. Tell him I said what's up, man. That's funny. Small world for sure. Small town for sure. Michael Melanson. Okay, y'all want a companion show? Okay. Andrew Repass, more from Pasadena. Are we getting Tim Corbin? Mark Allen, 6'3", 347. Almost cried when I got a shot in my left foot. Corbin. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I think there are a million reasons for Tim Corbin to stay at Vanderbilt. Ear to ground, there are some things that he's not happy with at Vanderbilt. And if the situation could be right, he would leave. I know that surprises people. I know it's and the other thing too is I'm not saying they're gonna get a deal done, but I think as fans we just assume, well, he makes all this money and he has the recruiting advantage. All that stuff is true, which makes it really hard for him to get away. But the same has been true for a lot of coaches that are pried out of a very comfortable situation. That's where a guy like Scott Woodward has to be at his best. At selling and closing and convincing a guy why it's the right time to make that move. Juan Corbin is 1,000,000 years old. No, he's not. He's 62, the same as Pat Casey. And if he comes in and coaches for 5 to 7 years and gets your program back at an elite level and maybe gets to Omaha, wins a championship, is it worth it? I think so. Did he rock trip on her sports bra? That's why you come to companion shows, to see me holding up Erica's sports bra at the end of the night. Let's see. As always, y'all shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and of course Hudco Roofing. Brock After Hours Clinic is open today. So if you're in Baton Rouge, you need an orthopedist, go see Brock. And as always, Hudco Roofing. We offer free, no obligation roofing inspections. So if you ever, you hear me say it all the time, only one or two ways to find out if you got roof damage. Either inspect it or let it rain and you get water in your house. So one option's better than the other. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Let's see. Bentley Spears, she went there about here. Patrick Kimmery, what's up? Charlie had shots in his heel for plantar fasciitis. A shot at Jameson. Craig Dugas, what's up, man? Bennett Saya. While you're ready to go get a massage. Val Browning. They hurt, don't do it. Other treatments. Hey, man, I've been telling her for months. Erica limps around with her. Like, literally, when she wakes up in the morning, she does not put her foot on the ground. She just, limps around. I'm like, what are you doing? I've just stopped. You can only tell someone something so many times before you just, stop talking because it's just not resonating. So, can the haircut fairy get us a line if they can produce runs in scoring position? Greg, too much mellow corn last night. I got a slight hang around. Man, I don't like too much corn. Whiskey that's too much corn. I'm not down for it. Ryan Dixon, Hudco's new ad campaign. Hudco the Roof Fairy. Brian and Annie Penton, good morning. From Milwaukee, cruise triple was wasted. It was indeed. Amy LeBlanc, painful to watch like the rest of the season. Need to flush the year. But like I told y'all, man, think about how disappointing it was to watch. And y'all got short memories, so I know y'all ain't even going to remember this. But think about how disappointing it was knowing how critical the final weekend series against A&M was. And they went out and they lost game one. And the melt came. And then what happened? They won the next two. I wouldn't be surprised if they go win today at all. I wouldn't be surprised one iota if they give the ball to McHale and he spins it and they go win today. And you know what's going to happen? We're going to be sitting here tomorrow going, all right, got Gonzaga again. They're down to their number 3. We got Labus. Labus has been rested now. Go get this win. Look, it could happen. Remember 2014 with Houston? LSU was in the driver's seat, and Houston came back and beat LSU twice. Like, you never know. Like, I know y'all work. Earl, what kind of pitcher are we facing today? Always great job, Matt. Good man, love AFR. Thank you, Earl. I have no idea who's pitching from Central Connecticut State. I mean, y'all, I haven't said on AFR, I did not do a preview of Central Connecticut State. We did a lot of previews on Oregon and Gonzaga, but I didn't look at the 4 seed at all. I mean, I assumed if you're in a loser's bracket game and you're facing the number 2 guy against Central Connecticut State, he was not a very good team. Was not very good, but managed to win their conference tournament. And you should walk through this game. So we'll see. We'll see. Bennett, these guys should have played travel ball as kids. William Engelman, you predicted the strikeout leaving the bases loaded. Oh, you mean with Sanford? Brant, Matt, what was wrong from a strategy standpoint with last night? I mean, I think it's everything everybody said already, Brant. I mean, you know, I understand what Maneri was thinking, loading the lineup with lefties, but Safford and Sanford in there it was a tough sell. I mean, I get what he was doing, and I was more optimistic than most about Will, but defensively it was a struggle, you know. And he only got 2 plate appearances, so. Let's see. The first 2 relief pitchers threw 4 straight balls. That's what Dunn will get you. Well, Alan Dunn wasn't throwing the pitches, man. And I don't know why in the world they went to Jacob Hasty. Like, you went to your lefty to get a lefty-lefty matchup for their leadoff guy with a runner in scoring position down 3 because you had to get that matchup. And you went to Hasty instead of Javen Coleman. Like, I don't get it. That's the thing I don't get. Brant Roban, I vote Tony Vitello. Yeah, I think Tennessee's going to lock Vitello up long term. Erica and Toby Tomplay due on next Running the Tiger auction. Brian Chandler, Alex Robaleski. Do you think Bianco has a shot at being the coach? I went through that a little bit ago, Alex. I'm not sure if you heard it. Whenever I kind of went through that, I know I'm going back and forth YouTube and Facebook, and so I'm like behind on comments. So I apologize for that if y'all hear me re-answer stuff. Charlie asked you right to send the cleaning ferry and cooking ferry to Bossier City. Tom Grant, I got to take Bianco in a heartbeat. That's interesting. Amy LeBlanc, Bianco wouldn't be the worst decision. Definitely not the top of the list. Matthew Hyde, I think had they hired Bianco instead of Paul, the fan base would have been in on him. So I can tell you this, Matthew. Bianco wasn't interested in the job when they hired Paul because he was a Skip and Smoke guy. And it was still too close to Skip. And then obviously with Smoke, being fired, like Bianco was very content to stay at Ole Miss back in 07. The guy who wanted the job in 07 and didn't get it was Tim Corbin. Hang on one second. Granddaddy's car. Shoe. Daddy's. Okay. All right, we got to sing some happy birthdays. We got 2 people that we have to sing to. Number 1, we have to sing to Owen. You sing happy birthday to Owen. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to oh, Owen. Happy birthday to you.
Yay, the big finish, the grand finale. And how about happy birthday to Kirk? You ready? Happy birthday to Kirk. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kirk. Happy birthday to you.
Yay! Good job. Good job. All right, now you go watch Mickey Mouse. Total exploitation. So he just runs away to go watch Mickey Mouse. He's like, there, I performed. Leave me alone. Let's see. Andrew Bayer, thoughts on the new O-line coach? Oh, a non-baseball coach. Love him. Love the hire. I've had a lot of conversations about it. Baton Rouge guy, Brad Davis, went to Bel Air. Actually was at Bel Air when I was a Catholic. I kind of remember because he went to Oklahoma. He signed with them when Stoops first got to Oklahoma. So he won a championship there. So, he was a good player. He can recruit. And technically really good line coach. Look, if Sam Pittman, who is an offensive line coach by nature, brought him in to be his line coach at Arkansas, that's a pretty big validation. So, yeah, I like it a lot. Big weekend for football, too, with all the recruits on campus. Josh Blackman, if LSU loses, Florida loses, our new head coach is introduced when? Maybe Tuesday. If it's any later than Tuesday or Wednesday, if that scenario plays out, then you'll know it ain't O'Sullivan. Let's see, Brian, my lawyer that was at our construction closing Wednesday is friends with Paul. He told us they had Sully in the bag about 3 weeks ago. Take it for what it's worth. So, Brian, I have I've been very delicate with how I've talked about this. But the further along we get, the more clear some things become. Like I told you, they knew before the season that this was going to be it for Paul. The first conversations with Kevin O'Sullivan happened 6 to 8 weeks ago. Terms and potential, it's to where it's like terms of the deal and staff names are already. If LSU offers it formally, he will take it. The snag is, I don't know if LSU can offer it. There are some hurdles that they have to clear. And I know everybody mentioned, because everybody sent it to me and knows, like there was a tragic situation in Gainesville with a murder-suicide. You can look it up. I don't really feel like talking about it. It's an awful story, and a lot of people have pointed to that. I'm telling you, that's not it. That's not the hang-up. That's awful and tragic and terrible in every possible way, but that's not the thing. Ultimately, LSU is going to have to decide if they want to go that route. If they do, I think he will take the job. If not, that's when you start saying, okay, well, what other splash hires are there? And that's where I think LSU is kind of doing their due diligence. I think that's why you make a phone call to Tim Corbin, you make a phone call to Pat Casey, you make a phone call to Dan McDonald, who I believe is not leaving Louisville, because everything I've ever heard is that he's not leaving Louisville. He loves Louisville. He wants to be in the ACC. He does not want to come to the SEC. He likes the city of Louisville. He has built that program. So for whatever that's worth. And so then I think you kind of get to your safe names. Cliff Godwin is on the list, but I think there's some problems there as well. And then that's why you kind of end up with Bianco. If it gets down to that, but ultimately, it's I think it's going to start with whether or not LSU wants to formally offer O'Sullivan. Hey, Gabby Labruzzo, good morning. Do you expect Gio to go in the draft this year? He'll be an interesting one. Gio obviously has top-end speed, and he's a good defensive outfielder, and he can hit for average, but he lacks power, and that's if you don't have a power stroke, you're just not going to go high in the draft. So most juniors do sign, though. I don't know what Gio will do. Brian Nanny Penn, did you hear Ben say their head coach was on the Sanford team in '87 when they broke the hearts of the Young Tigers? Well, Brian, if you were listening to After Further Review on Wednesday, when Gonzaga's head coach was on AFR, I brought that up to him, as a matter of fact. So, yep. He was the DH, and he was all CWS in 1987 on the team with Paul Carey that hit the home run off Ben McDonald. Yep. Should have been listening to AFR, Brian. You'd have known that on Wednesday. Brant, show prep, by the way. It's the benefit of show prep. Brant Roban, wonder if a good strategy would be to have Skip Bertman call these coaches and sell them on the program. That would be cool. Hey, Brant. Nobody needs to sell the LSU program. But Skip Bertman will be involved. It is involved. Patrick Kason, how's E-Rock's eye? Thanks for asking, Patrick. It's doing much better. I blame the loss on Matt. If he would have worn the Rally Sports bra on his head, we would have had a different outcome. If that's all it took, I'd gladly do it. Reagan Lee, chances we hire Corbin. I don't think they're great. And what I also know about Tim Corbin is he will not entertain anything that becomes a big public to-do. Like, if he starts getting asked about it publicly and no. Tim Corbin will not play. Like, he's quite okay to stay at Vanderbilt, but he'll also answer LSU's call. You know what I mean? And so there's a deal to be done. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's definitely a possibility that's not a complete no, Richie Mercer, Tim Tadlock from Texas Tech should get a call. Richie, he was one of the initial guys on the list 8 weeks ago, and he signed a 10-year contract at Texas Tech. Patrick, Matt, LSU football tickets on StubHub are not bad for the A&M game. Do you think we should buy them or wait? I don't know, man. I guess you got to decide what's not bad and where are the seats. I mean, you could probably wait to game day and get upper deck seats for nothing. Just depends where you want to sit. How's that for a non-answer? Let's see. Breezy Bro. Darren Bone, what's up? Brant DeLon, thought Blue had a pretty tight zone. Bro's crazy. He did until the end of the game. He definitely didn't have a collegiate strike zone, that's for sure. Jacoby Pierre, what's up? Trivia Carter just popped on to say my birthday song was better than yours, Kirk. Drew cares more about the Marines. So stupid. What's up, Stephen Miller? Wasn't Gonzaga's number 2 pitcher injured? No, you're right, Richie. So that's why, I mean, Oregon is very... So the guy we had on from Oregon, who's our play-by-play guy, said that Oregon's number 2 is actually kind of their ace. And Gonzaga's number 2, a guy named Gabe Hughes, has a broken hand, and he's unavailable for the weekend. So I really expect Oregon's going to win this game and be in the driver's seat. And if LSU beats Central Connecticut State, it means they would come back Sunday and play Gonzaga again. How disappointing is the fan crowd attendance? No doubt. No doubt, man. Man, I'm so far. Let me get back over here to YouTube. I'll kind of work backwards. One, I'm still drunk from last night. Get you some coffee, bro. Cortland, I got one. If not Sully, hire Casey now or wait a few weeks for Corbin. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be really hard to wait. That's the really hard part. Because if you wait for a coach to finish his season and you don't get that deal done, you've put yourself in a real pickle. So that's why you have to have already done all your due diligence. So when the time comes to be able to make a decision, you can make it. That's a really, really big gamble. Ultimate Roar. I went on a liquid diet, just smoothies for meals. Lost 40 pounds quick. Kept it off by eating better and exercise. No doubt. Well, I don't know what that. I guess that's the problem with coming backwards with comments. Matt, how's the diet going? There you go. Good. I lost 20 pounds in about 7 weeks, and I have stayed within about 5 pounds of that. So feel good. I'm probably going to kick it back in. I started working out again for the first time in over a year. I threw up my back last year on Easter, and really just it's tough, y'all. Like when I have back pain, it's debilitating. And y'all know I went and saw Crystal Poche at Restored Motions, and she got me feeling as good as I felt in my life. But there's still a little kind of like, lingering issue there where you just don't want to get hurt again. Started working out again, and I think I'm gonna kick the diet back up again as I'm working out, and see if I can't maybe lose another 10 or 15, then gain 5 or 10 back in muscle just to replace the weight with good weight and kind of fill out a little more with a little leaner. So not that any of you cared about that, but anyway. Star Hill Stunners, any chance LSU might be interested in Tennessee's coach? Vitello's going to sign an extension at Tennessee. What about the Michigan coach? So a lot of fans mentioned Bakich. I don't think LSU's got much interest there. Not that I've heard from anyone at LSU about a potential deal there. Okay, y'all. I think we're just about done. Steven, the attendance was the least disappointing thing I saw last night. Touche. Josh Carlos' lineup selection last night was questionable. Play your experienced guys. No argument. I mean, I was optimistic about Safford, and I told y'all it was a large part because Terrier's been force feeding me about that kid for 2-3 years now. and I think he can be a really good player. But asking a freshman to come off the bench cold who hasn't played all year to start the regional opener at a position he wasn't playing, and it's tough. It was a really, really tough assignment. Let's see. I love Eric Bakich. Young, smart, turned the Michigan program around. They stunk this year. And, man, they were one of the last teams in the field when they went to the championship series. So it might have been the last team in the field. So, I mean, that's true. I mean, we could bring life to the Big Ten is probably good. I mean, I hear you. But... All right, y'all. Let's bounce. As always, shout out to Brock. Remember, the After Hours Clinic is open. So on the weekends, if you need an orthopedist, go see our friends at Brock. Of course, Hudco Roofing would greatly appreciate it, man. You need a roof replacement. Got an issue with your roof, give us a call. If your neighbors or friends are talking about it, holler. We appreciate it. Just help us spread the good word about Hudco, man. HudcoRoofing.com. And the thing we always say is let us come do a free, no obligation roof inspection. Golly, especially if your roof is beyond that 10, 13-year mark. It's really worth it to get up there. Let us do that free roof inspection. So, and man, look, if there's damage, if we spot hail damage, it's easy. We file the report. We put together a report. We help you file a claim with your insurance. And an adjuster comes out to your house. We meet the insurance adjuster at your house. Our insurance people handle everything. We see if we get your roof bought. You pay your deductible. So, HudcoRoofing.com. Okay, y'all. Have an awesome day. We'll see about a companion show at 3. I'm down for it. We'll see. All right. Peace. Later, guys and gals and ladies.